Hello.
Hello.
Yes, today let's do a episode with the Gretsch. This one. On the intro track, I used it for the rhythm guitar because it's a little bit like the Australian rock band. What's the name, Tom?
ACDC.
Yes, and therefore I did the rhythm tracks with the Gretsch, which is cool. But for the lead, I don't have my SG right now here because she the guitar is on the way to the cryo tuning. So looking forward for the frozen one. But this one is also not bad because it's a 74 Gibson custom Les Paul with the T-tops pickups, which are great for this kind of sound. For amplification, I use my trusty 80s GCM 800 on lower volume as I should, but the preamp is so sensitive. And I did both guitars with the same amp, which is okay, I would say. Slightly different setup. For the lead, I engaged the Solodallas tower for a little bit of boost. Sounds like this. Great guitar. But what we hear, or what I will demonstrate, is how important is the mix of both of these guitars, because it's not. I thought, why not a Gretsch? I don't have a Gretsch in my arsenal. I would say first of all, it are the heavy strings, which I did on the Gretsch. I put. Let's take the Gretsch. So, Firebird, Firejet, who knows the real name, but it's quite similar in a way to the Malcolm Young model, but cheaper. I have two pickups in the guitar which I could put out because, now let's see, because for some of the chimey sounds, clean wise, it's also cool having a Gretsch, but for the heavy sound, bridge pickup and Solodallas bridge pickup. Because the original one, I see the screw is quite. For the original, the original pickup is very weak, below 5K or so, and we know from Malcolm that he used this Stevie Jones kind of pickup in the old days, which was a little bit stronger, which means more meats. The strings are the old Gibson L5 jazz guitar strings, which means 12 to 56 with a wound G. Didn't get them. I think they are not in stock any longer, but you can buy from, I think, Ernie Ball a set which is 12 to 56 with a plain G, but you have to put away the plain G because the plain G is 24, 25, which is really sick for a plain sound state. Only for jazz, maybe. But if you want to have a little bit of sustain, put on a wound 24, 25 something, which you have to order separately. But that's really great. Not for playing lead, that's not possible. But for a riff, for heavy riffing, it's cool, and it's really half of the rent, as we say here, together with some a little bit wilder Angus style. We know he uses SG and set of 9 to 42 thin strings, and a little bit more aggressive from the amp. Malcolm used a 100-watt super bass. I don't have a super bass here. I sold mine, but the old 2203 will do. Sounds like this without anything. There's something going on. Would be cool standing in front of this amp, because it's a big difference. With this kind of bass strings, there is air moving. That's the good thing. I would prefer standing in front of the amp playing this kind of stuff, because if you have more gain, more distortion, it's also cool playing in front of the monitors. Even better standing in front of the amp, but it's okay. But this kind of cleanish, edge of breakup, riffing sound, you don't get the experience if you listen on low levels like we do here. But it's okay. And together it is really cool for mixing. And the second good thing is you can dig in, you should dig in like crazy without having the problem of getting out of tune, because if you do it with nines, you have to be very careful. Hitting too hard on a deep 42 gauge string can get sharp very easily. Could easily turn off a little bit of a boost. It's not forbidden. Or even with a Solodallas, why not? That's also interesting. On a normal GCM 800, normally I crank the pre-gain. which is cool for playing lead and heavy rhythm. But if you have the possibility of boosting the signal, you should try reducing the preamp gain, so it gets more crisp, more trebly, which can be interesting because for most of the time I like the heavy, dense, low mid-range thing which is going on a good GCM 800. But for something in between, also cool, turning around the preamp gain as you wish. On full would be this. A little bit too much gain, I would say. So let's reduce it a little bit. Let's say 2 o'clock. Even more. Let's try 12. And it's also allowed reducing the volume on the guitar, which is this master volume. If I would even make more volume, which is in this case ridiculous low, it's still loud, but it's not this kind of loud as it would be on a cranked, or not cranked, on an open 100 watt, 100 watt super bass with the volume on, let's say, 7 or something, which is really loud, but really clean loud. That's the good thing with playing loud. There's a difference. As we know, AC/DC they don't have problems with volume. We normal people sometimes have. So I think you are good with a master volume amp, similar to some 100 watt Marshall. Why not a Marshall? I didn't play any other amps. Would be interesting also with, let's say, the divided by 13 GG 5100. Think that could be cool. Every amp which has this kind of behavior like the super bass. What's the difference between the super bass and the super lead? Not much. There's a different equalization happening, no treble, no bright cap. That means you can turn it from 0 on and it's getting only louder, and not as it is on the super lead, terribly trebly if you are below 5 or 6 on the volume. That's the reason the super lead is not good for playing on low levels. Yo, that's so far so good. We'll see what I get, what experience I will make in the future with trying this guitar with some other amps. It hasn't to be AC/DC, or Tom? You can play every kind of mix playback rock guitars, but the first place rhythm, because I don't think anybody can bend around G string, but for a reason it's a real good combination with other guitars, which you don't get so easily with, let's say, you could use a Fender, yes you could, but you have on both sides let's say, thin sounding guitars. Or maybe I will try this, putting these fat strings on a, let's say, a Telecaster. Could be also a funny experience, why not? But also these TV Jones Gretsch pickups have a real special sound, which is alone, I would say, a little bit strange in the first place, but together with some humbuckers, were really interesting. Okay, let's see what we get out of this thing in the future. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for donations, thanks for everything. See you next time.
Bye bye.